Are we in a new golden age of film? Yes, Hollywood is investing in fewer movies than before, marketing towards a handful of blockbusters in hopes of banking on the safety of franchises, but this is not a worldwide phenomenon. The interconnectivity of the 21st century and the emergence of streaming and video-on-demand services have ushered in far more global visibility in this medium. So maybe we are in a new golden age of film, an age when more voices are heard and the audience is bigger and grander than ever. With this in mind, I want to spotlight the 20 best that this decade has to offer, so far. This will be done in an admittedly unscientific manner, consisting of a jury comprised only of myself. But at any rate, these are, I feel, among the very best films of the past several years. This will be shown in no particular order, so to avoid needless bickering about placement and incredulous shouting about how number 6 is objectively better than number 7 and so forth. Let's begin. Son of Saul, a Hungarian film by Laszlo Nemes. We see history in broad strokes, and in visualizing it this way, we have detached. Son of Saul, conversely, attaches us to the action, the Holocaust, and more specifically to one man. The cinematography is the absolute pinnacle of handheld work, leaving in the dust the pretenders and shaky cam enthusiasts. Son of Saul is among the very best that cinema has to offer. Mad Max Fury Road, an Australian and American production directed by George Miller. The explosive, beloved by everyone action thrill ride. Expertly shot, stuffed to bursting with modern messaging and mythology, and with enough iconic imagery to leave a lasting impression for years to come. The film trades away subtlety for bombast, but comes through with a surprisingly deep and layered experience. Every shot is perfect, daring the audience to never blink. The Act of Killing, an Indonesian language film with Danish and British distributors, directed by Joshua Oppenheimer and Christine Sin. The new Everest of documentary filmmaking. The perpetrators of the Indonesian genocide are coaxed, perhaps tricked, into recreating their atrocities in what they are told are works of fiction. They ghoulishly recount their crimes against humanity, and it is absolutely horrifying. Mandatory viewing. Hard to be a God. A Russian film directed by Alexei German and released posthumously. Hard to be a God is a science fiction movie on a planet that hates science. Perfectly choreographed long takes and intimate cinematography brings the audience to that planet. We do not so much watch a story as we witness a living world. Shot on and off over the course of 6 years and then edited for about 6 more, German, sadly, did not live to see his film premiere across the world. Only God Forgives, a Danish-French co-production filmed in Thailand in both Thai and English, directed by Nicholas Winding Refn. After a brief, scholarly period of being Refn's allegedly disappointing follow-up to Drive, this film has more recently earned a critical re-evaluation as a great, brilliant, gorgeous film. Only God Forgives is stunning and worth seeing again with new eyes. Drive, an American film by the Danish director, pushes the boundaries of the crime thriller and the so-called heroic figure. How do we decide what is nurture and what is nature? How does that affect our perspective on responsibility for our actions? Drive is a devastatingly beautiful film that asks us questions about what it means to be a human being, but never talks down to its audience or presents easy answers. Snowpiercer, a South Korean film directed by Bong Joon-ho. Sci-fi the way it was meant to be, a vehicle of change, of commentary, of warning. In one exchange in the film, the antagonist says that everyone has a preordained place, to which the protagonist says, that's what people in the best place say to people in the worst place. It is a simple, unambiguous line, but it means so much and encapsulates every struggle that human beings have fought and died for since the dawn of man. It's Such a Beautiful Day, 3 animated shorts repurposed into a feature film, directed by American animator Don Hertzfeldt. In an age of increasingly more technologically advanced animation, an era of Pixar, DreamWorks, and the evolution of Disney, Hertzfeldt somehow reaches into our souls more powerfully through stick figures. We see Bill, but we also see ourselves in Bill. Because of this, it is a remarkable achievement, and not one to be missed. Incendies, a French and Arabic language film by Canadian director Denis Villeneuve. a tragic story of war and lost family told over 2 generations. Villeneuve's films this decade have all been excellent. Enemy, Prisoner, Sicario, but this is perhaps his most powerful, his most intense, and his best. War and Revolution is often told in broad strokes, but this is more personal, more private. We see the human costs, the muddied annals of history, the confused morality, and the aftermath that always lingers. A Touch of Sin, a Chinese crime drama directed by Jia Zhangke. A series of short vignettes in modern-day China, no individual story overstays its welcome. It appears, tells its haunting story, and vanishes to give the spotlight to the next. Violent but not aggressive, rebellious but not childish, it seesaws between reckless stylism and stark realism in the very same film. Not easy to do, even for what is ostensibly an anthology piece. The Tree of Life, an American film directed by Terrence Malick. The relationship between the boy and his father is more akin to the relationship between humanity and God than a simple parentage. Malick's film is a religious experience, an out-of-body experience. It's a film of great ambition, and we expect nothing less from its director. Malick's work is that of visual poetry, a distinct form of stylism with depth, a necessary marriage of the two. It's an absolutely beautiful journey through space, time, and whatever else there is in the universe. A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, a Persian-language film directed by Iranian-American filmmaker Anna Lili Amirpour. A feminist horror movie about an Iranian vampire is easily one of the best examples of the genre in recent years. Moody, creepy, dark, but still breathtakingly lovely at the same time. The often maligned genre is reaching a new age of the so-called art house horror, and this could very well be its best example. Once Upon a Time in Anatolia, a Turkish film directed by Nuri Bilge Ceylan. A murder investigation, told mostly through procedure and protocol, shows the cold dehumanization of life. Characters speak of the dead in a variety of ways, but the questions of what do we do with our dead translate more into how do we live with what has happened. A terribly powerful film. It has the mood and philosophies of No Country for Old Men, but somehow goes even bleaker and darker. Holy Motors, a French film by Léos Carax. Oscar, seemingly an actor, travels Paris in a limousine, assumes the roles of beggars, musicians, and gangsters. It's a hypnotic film, somehow intricately pieced together, but also resembling a stream of consciousness. It proves that postmodernism can be fun and not just navel-gazing. Holy Motors is something truly special. The director does not make many films, but even if this is somehow his last, he may have finished strong, creating his masterpiece. A Field in England, a British film directed by Ben Wheatley. It's theater of the bizarre, the psychedelic. We visit these characters in another time, and then these characters travel across the universe itself, all within the span of the eponymous field. Is it a dream, a hallucination, a vision of the afterlife? Whatever it is, the film is deeply engrossing the whole way through. Prediction: this will become a modern classic by the time more people hear about it and more people give it a chance. Boyhood, an American film directed by Richard Linklater. What's fascinating about Boyhood is that even divorced from its development history and inspiring production premise, it's also, in and of itself, a great-looking, engaging coming-of-age story. Growing up is not a new topic. Everything from luminary works like The 400 Blows to memorable films like American Graffiti have tackled it, but few films have done it with such complete earnestness. Boyhood is a film of such boundless ambition, and yet never feels pretentious. Under the Skin, a British and American co-production by English director Jonathan Glazer. The term Kubrickian is not something to be tossed about, and yet it is a common and entirely accurate description of this film. Told far more through visuals than dialogue, Under the Skin is a meditation on isolation and sexuality that captures the audience from beginning to end. Uncle Boonmi Who Can Recall His Past Lives, a Thai film directed by Apichatpong Weerasethakul. This very strange, amazing movie investigates the transformation and extinction of cinema. Each section of the film is in a different style, and through this we watch the past lives in the narrative parallel the past lives of film. It's a remarkably weird work, full of a kind of magical realism. Everyone is perfectly understanding of all the ghosts and monsters that just appear out of the ether. No time to waste on their origins, they simply exist, and we have the privilege of watching what happens. The Turin Horse, a Hungarian film co-directed by Béla Tarr and Agnes Ranicki. nothing happens, and everything happens. Two people live in a cottage, perform daily chores, and repeat mundane tasks. And yet, in this nothing, we see something. We see the drudgery of life, we see struggle. The entire film is comprised of a series of long shots. Very little is said in the film, but it somehow transcends this, and never feels like a limitation. The Master, an American film directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. This intentionally opaque film is about more than just some infamous historical figure. We search for meaning in The Master the same way the characters in The Master search for meaning in their own lives, always grasping, but never holding on. Anderson eschews traditional narrative, achieving great new heights as a reward for his experimentation. That's all for now. If you were hoping to see different films, I have a suggestion. Instead of asking, what about blank? Just talk about blank in the comments section. Promote it, praise it, and don't worry why I did not love it as much as yourself. It's more fun that way. Anyway, thanks for watching.